Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lands Forever. Today, I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxys map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting up with Team 1 up here in the northwest section of the map, ending with Team 2 in the southeast. Starting off, before we introduce, we are going to slow down just a little bit so we have enough time to introduce and take a look at that early game movement and action. Starting off with Team 1's northeasternmost player, it is Chapek going first, land as a UEF. He is in Pac-Man yellow, and he is an 1100. Going southwest in stage blue, we have Maverick going first, land as a Seraphim. He is a 1200. Continuing on the front line, we have Drunk Warden going first line as another Seraphim here for his team. He is an 1100 in Chevy Crimson. And the last player to introduce on that front line for Team 1, it is Literal going first line as an Aeon. He is in Forest Green as the highest rated player in Team 1 and in the game overall at a 1500 rating. And for the regular slot for Team 1, it is a UEF player of Napspan going first, Air as a UEF. He is a 1300. So for Team 1 side of things, they have every faction except for Cybrins, which means that they have 2 Seraphim, 2 UEF, and 1 Aeon. So again, Team 1 does not have access to Cybrin technology. In the southeast, starting off with the, let's do northeasternmost player here for Team 2. It is Jakarta going first line as a Cybrin. Speaking of Cybrins, he is a 1400. The highest rated player on Team 2 in orange, the color orange. And again, he's going first land. To his southwest is an Aeon player of Alchemical going first land. He is in Laddish Red Pink, and he is a 1200. In Snow White here, continuing on southward, is Pergola PDM going first land, second air as another Aeon here for his team. He is a 1200. And the last player on that front line here for Team 2 is Krusty Bread going first, second, and third land. I can just hear somebody like crunching bread, literally, because it's Krusty, crunching bread as I say his name. He is in Royal Blue, and he is an 1100 as an Aeon. And in the Regal slot here for Team 2 in Regal Purple, we have the UEF player of Dorset going first land, and he is a 1200. So for Team 2 side of things, they have all of the races except for Seraphim represented. So 3 Aeon, 1 Cybrin, and 1 UEF with no access to Seraphim tech. Team 1 does not have access to Cybrin technology. So no monkeys for Team 1 and no chickens for Team 2. Let's go ahead and look at the reclaim currently still on the map here. At a little bit over 2 minutes in this game, we have I'd say about 25,000 to round off the math in my head a lot easier. So with 10 players, that is 2.5k mass in reclaim per player. That is actually a decent. It's actually not a ton, but we've had maps with a lot more mass per player. But still, 2,500 mass per player is a ton of mass to reclaim here in this map. And speaking of mass, of course, we got to go over mass point layouts to talk about strategic points on the map. There is a Trimex position here in the south. We have a Quad Mex position, most likely for the air slot player. We have another Quad Mex position in the middle of the map. And another, obviously, a Quad Mex position opposite that Trimex on the other side of the map. There are a couple of civilian structures to scoop up. They offer some reclaim, not a lot, but again, some is better than none, or anything is better than nothing. We do see a couple of teams of scouts and assault bots here for Team 1's Literal, trying to get a nice little view on the battlefield. You can see what he can see right now. It gets a little bit more vision, and is also going to the most likely spots for early engineers to go after those T1 mech spots in this game. I think it is time to speed this game back to 0 so we can view and watch and comment at normal speed. We do see the movements here of Team 1's comms, 2 of them going eastward to cover the eastern flank, 2 of them going southward to cover the western flank. We don't see the same movement coming out here from Team 2. We have 1 on Team 2. We have 3 of the 4 frontline players are moving. The rear guard airsoft players for both teams aren't going to be moving very much maybe just going after mexes, as we see here, going after an air facility. Not really a whole lot of risky plays coming in here from the air players. We do see a bomber out here from Team 2's Pruga, going to go after a couple of engineers. And those look like Team 1 tanks, but not really going to be a whole lot, at least in that position. They're going to get some facilities online here pretty soon. The comm of Team 1's Drunk Warden is actually going into the water to hide himself. He's just short enough to be able to hide himself under the surface of the water. And there is actually a decent amount of water on this map, and a lot of it actually very prominent. A lot of these maps, you kind of have like a spot of water over here or a spot of water over here, and it doesn't really do anything besides hide comms. But in the middle of the map, we could see naval facilities online here for both teams. We do see that bomber going after, actually not going after the engineer spot up here. Oh, never mind. As I say something, he's like, nope, got to do it. Engineer is going to get killed off here. It does stop the construction of those facilities. So is it the best case scenario? No. Is it the worst case scenario? Also no. We do see the comm of Drunk Warden has made his way onto the other side of that water and is actually going to scoop up a couple of mass points. It does look like there might be some Seraphim on Aeon action here starting off at 5 minutes in this game. That may be the first comm on comm action if Team 2's Jack and Maverick don't have a nice little disagreement about something. Literal is hanging back for a little bit. I would like to see him maybe push a little bit more to support his teammate here, but this could be just a delaying tactic, not necessarily he's going to stake his life on these two mixes and call it a day. We do see the comm of Prugler is not assisting, but going after some more production facilities to start spamming out those T1 Aurora. So he's more focused on that. I don't blame him. He needs to worry about, of course, 2 comms inbound as well and a group of units that will be shortly en route. Not a lot of area to cover, but it is enough for some units to be able to squeak on by. And especially with hover tech, you can easily just go around this way as well. So both teams need to be aware of that. Both teams have access to hover technology in T1 stages, so got to be aware of any sort of cheeky little plays. First upgrade on the cards here at almost 6 minutes in this game. Jack Attack. I want to say Jack Attack, but that is not his name. I'll call him Jack for short. He's going for speed and range on that Cybran Commander. You will most likely go for stealth next. That is usually the normal upgrade chain of events here for most Cybran Commanders. Unless they go into the water, then they go torpedo. But I don't see that realistically being the case here, at least at the moment. A drop is inbound here from Team 1's Maverick, going after that Mechs on not necessarily an upper plateau, but just going after that one Mechs. And then it's going to drop right here, but maybe try to deny a couple of Mechs here for his opponent, and then drop over here as well. I really don't know what 3 engineers are going to do against the comm of Alchemical, who is nearby. Moving in to assist his teammate of Jack while he's on that upgrade. We do see both comms of Team 1 moving in just slowly but surely eastwardly. And we do see, of course, Maverick making his presence very well known against these Aurora here in the northeast corner of the map. How is the air grid going on here for Team 1? T2 already finished off. P-Gens are started underneath shield coverage here soon to protect that investment. Multiple T2 P-Gens. He's going to run out of mass here pretty soon. He is trying to scoop up as much as he can, is delaying upgrades as well, but we can see he does stop the first construction of that assisting P-Gen. Probably should have done that one first and then gone for the other ones, but I do understand wanting to put them under shield coverage as soon as possible. Don't want any nonsense happening against them. Pings do go down here in the northeast. Maverick has fallen below the 25% threshold and is sub 2,000 hit points, sub almost 1,000 hit points. That gun upgrade here from Jack paying dividends here. He does make it to the safety of the water. Does have to watch out for bombers, of course, for T2 Torps, but unless Team 2's air player goes for that, I don't see that really being an issue. We do see he is going to plan to do his T3 air facility upgrade pretty shortly, so it is a race to T3. 8 minutes in this game. That upgrade has now actually been started for Team 1, so Team 1's slightly ahead in that regard. But we do see Team 1's Drunk Warden just kind of hanging out in the water, and he's going for an upgrade, and his head is sticking out, which means he can be targeted. He's probably going for guns. Mass has been sent to Junk Warden to assist with that upgrade. He'll be perfectly fine in that regard. He will lose a decent amount of hit points, but nothing really too much of an issue here for him. It does look like there is a lot of gesturing going on here between both teams' armies. We even see more war coming in from the northeast in this water section. Don't know where they essentially came from, but they came from somewhere. That drop earlier didn't really look like it really panned out for Team 1's Maverick. He is going to do another one, though. Only Engineers are going to start denying it reclaim. That's a nice idea. I don't know if it's that necessary, but denying mass is better than, you know, not having the mass for yourself or letting your opponent have it. So, there is merit in that. I just don't know if it was really super worth it. We do see those Aurora, again, being very nasty on the water here. T1 PD has been built to defend, and more land facilities. Drunk Warden has taken a decent battering here, dropping almost below 50% of his hit points. It's pretty close to getting a rank inefficiency as well. So, again, it's the whole risk and reward scenario here. In the northeast, that gun upgrade of Jack is still pushing against Team 1's Maverick's front line. We do see a couple of T2 PD online, and more of them being built as we speak. Those PD very deadly because they do not miss. Well, 99.99999% of the time they don't miss until they're changing targets. We do see Nano coming on the way here for the UEF comm of Chepka. He's already has that Zephamp, that gun upgrade. I mean, it's nice to have Nano. Doesn't really need it right now, but it's not bad to have. Team 2's Alchemical already has range and speed going for advanced range. And then maybe, I mean, he's beefing up his commander. He could go for shield. But a T1 bomber over the top kills on 5 Aurora in one shot. That was definitely paid dividends for that bomber by itself. Nice grab here by Maverick. T3 has not been finished. Almost is finished for Team 2. T3 has also not been finished. Very surprising. So Team 2's Rippler has caught up significantly. And an attack on the southwestern side of Team 2's front line. A lot of T1 tanks here for both. Excuse me. Apologies for that. I had that, like, you know, you have that moment where you're trying to sneeze and it's hard to talk. I was struggling to talk there, but luckily all of that nonsense happened and I have sneezed. I am one of those, I wouldn't say violent sneezers. I'm a loud sneezer for sure. So I don't know why I am. I am. I'm not one of those that tries to suppress my sneeze. I just feel like it's better to just get it out of the way and be done with it and move on. But yeah, so apologies if that caught on the mic. I do have a gate on the mic to be able to try to limit that, but sometimes it goes on through. So apologies for that, and appreciation for those that will say bless you when they watch the recording or comment it down below. Always encourage people to comment down below about anything and everything. I do not respond super quick, but I do respond roughly within 24 hours. My job, I'm more busier than I used to be, so I don't have as much free time, I guess would be the phrase that I would use to be able to just respond when I want to. But huge land invasion going on here in the north here for Team 1. Lots of yellow getting intermixed here with some orange and pink. Jack is trying to stave that incoming threat down. He has a lot of T2 units. Actually, most of them just Vipers, those T2 mobile missile launchers. Chepka is taking a lot of damage, even with Nano on board. He is almost below 50% of those hit points, and a lot of units do move into the east. Are being chased now by a lot of incoming missiles, though. I feel like at this point, these would actually be better suited to take out those missile launchers. I think all the T2 tanks have really been dealt with, except for a couple of them still for Jack. Radar did get taken out, which means he was blind for a couple of seconds. But a large amount of T1 spam, and a lot of these hunters, those T1 assault bots, coming in to be able to help finish off the rest of those units that are inbound. But Team 1 is getting some progress down for penetrating that front line. Team 2 has done a decent job holding the southwest, but there is a small contingent of units still over here wanting to come back to the fold. But well, some of them are hover, some of them are not. Let's see, that is Aurora are hover, the Thistles are not. And I think that's it. Just there's only like one thistle in there. I feel like that's enough. A couple thistles is enough to just float across the water. But they are facing other Aurora as well, so they can chase them down. But because this large group of forces is distracted, Team 1's Little is actually pushing forward with a different group of units, a couple of Blazes, more Aurora, and a Shield as well. Just trying to use the whole bait and switch tactic here on that western front. We do see the first naval facility built here for the entire game. This one is out from Chepka, and it is, I wouldn't say it's super well positioned. This could easily be an artillery base and not feel good as time goes on. Not really doing anything with it, but maybe we'll see some governors out of it. He's still pushing with that front line and his comm. Of course, he is facing some Obsidian heavy tanks. They are deadly. They're not known for their damage. They're known for their, well, they're a tank, but they're known for their tankiness, especially that shield. Especially for T2 units, they're just annoying to deal with. You pair those with Ilshis, and you're not going to have a fun time. You're not going to have a fun time if you're facing them. You are going to have a fun time if you're using them. Shield is going on the way for Alchemical. He is in the yellow, but he's in the high yellows, so he should be fine for now. He has a decent amount of force of himself and nearby allied units as well. I don't see I was going to say I don't see any bombers, but we have, I think, maybe the first T3 strat bomber of the game. There are some ASF kind of circling around in Team 2's base. Feel like this bomber might come in, may target the comm. Well, based on his trajectory, it is going for the comm. Maybe it'll go for the units. But Chepka is back into the green, 62 hit points as second, has 2 veterancy. And here comes that bomber. It is inbound, dropping its bomb on top of the comm. I was assuming that's what I was going after. That does get spotted. And the ASFs haven't been given the order just as of yet. There is T1AA, but it's going straight in, going after some T2 mechs. That's got to hurt the eco here for Jack. It's got to deal with that. Those ASFs aren't now tasked with going after it. I feel like one more bomb. Oh, it's going to get... Oh, it probably will get the bomb off. There it goes. You can hear the whistle knowing that has been released. Takes out a facility as well. Mainly the T2 mechs was definitely the more... valuable target than a T1 land facility. Advanced Nano coming on the way for Drunk. He has Nano, Gun, and Splash Gun. So he has double Gun and Nano going for Advanced Nano. He's going to be super tanky to deal. Well, not tanky, but bulky. I don't. You would think bulky means tanky, but the more lean, he's very strong or strong, depending on your verbiage. But we do see just more and more missiles lining this front line here for Team 2's. Jack, he wants to just constantly bombard Team 1, but Team 1 is focusing a lot more on unit production, not necessarily bases. We have a couple of PD, but not a lot. And again, we do see the emergence of some Ilshis as well, so Team 2 has to be very careful with their commanders, so they can easily be swarmed very, very quickly by those nasty, nasty Ilshis. We do see the come of Chepka is moving out of the water and is going to go after those Obsidians. Obsidians don't have a ton of damage, but again, a lot of anything, 1,000 of anything can kill anything. So just be aware of that. ACU is pushing when upgraded is finished, says Drunk. Probably talking to Little. Little is actually fallen back to his main base, gone for T3 land. Going to build those Harbingers, maybe even see some Absolvers, those anti-shield units. Very, very effective against shields. That's what they're known for. And we do see those Obsidians going to push Chepka back into one. It takes out 2 of them with that overcharge. But then again, this essentially was more of a diversionary tactic more than anything else. This group of T2 and T1 units here for Jack being the main force driving back Team 1. And even some Ilshis in the mix. There was also some Rhinos here for Team 2. Lots of Vipers, though, just constantly shelling incoming forces. Because even if a couple of them miss, one hits here, one hits here, units are constantly streaming in, which means the likelihood that they actually hit something is actually kind of high, regardless if they are moving or not. Alchemical pushing with that gun and shield. Aeon Sniper Commander here has to be, of course, very careful, because once he runs out of units, those PD will target him unless he can take them out. That PD does get taken out, but the Ilshis are now moving in to force back that comm. Chepka, that could be your move to come in and assist. There it is. The command has been given to move in. Lots of moving orders here. Try to see what comms are doing. But that comm of Alchemical is... looks like he'll be saved by Jack just coming in to just hang out next to him. Overcharges, comes in, almost kills that Ilshi. But it does look like he'll take out some other units. But the assisting Vipers here for Team 2's Jack is being taken out once again. He could just not build up a decent amount of them to save his life for some reason. But obviously that's not the main threat, but it's nice to take out that long-range artillery. But Chepka going around the little mountain here, you can see how high it is. It's not super high, but it's enough to just annoy either player depending on how it is used. It is a Cybern versus a UEF, very old rivalry here. 3 veterancy versus 4 veterancy. Gun versus gun and nano. Definitely the, I will give the oomph to Chepka in that regard. Chepka is focusing on the units to get his veterancy up and running, which I don't blame him in that regard, because why wouldn't you not? But it's very much back and forth here on this northeastern side. Southeastern side, southwestern side, not really a whole lot. Kind of small groups of units, large groups of units, just kind of running back and forth. T3 units on both sides starting to make their debut on the Royal stage here. Air grid starting to be plumped out. I do love the decentralization of the air grid here for Dorset, not allowing any sort of cascade nonsense to happen. If it would, if is the thing. We are approaching the 20-minute mark. No one has died as of yet, but of course it can always happen very quickly. How is Team 1's air grid? Not as plump, but is doing. Oh, that's kind of interesting. He doesn't even attach the T3 headquarters to anything. Interesting. Not going for that adjacency bonus. But there is one little Titan trying to go after that. Mechs doesn't really go anywhere with that. More T2 facilities going to start pumping out Ilshis or AA units. Those are usually the only 2 units I see out of the Seraphim players. And that's really the only 2 units that you really mostly need at T2 stage. Unless you have Obsidians and you have Blazes and you have T2 AA. If you're an Aeon, that's usually the case. But it's just AA and Ilshis. That's really all you need at T2 for Seraphim. There are a couple of missile launchers in there, but they're not as important as the Ilshis and the AA. You gotta have mobile AA. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Doesn't matter if you're a land player, a sea player, an air player. You gotta have AA because those ASFs are always too late to come and intervene for some gunship or bombers or whatever the case may be. You gotta have your own either your own Air Force or your own AA. Either or. Both work. Both is better, but having one is better than having none. And at 20 minutes in this game, let's take a look at Reclaim and talk about who might win this game. Team 2 and Team 1 essentially at 50%. There's a little bit of momentum coming out from Team 1 on the southwestern side here for Drunk Warden, and a lot of assistance coming out from Literal's units. Team 2 is holding for now, but they are losing ground in that regard in the northeast. Team 2 and Team 1 still back and forth. There's a little bit for Team 2 and then a little bit for Team 1, and there's not really a clear in the lead kind of regard for that matter. Lots of fire is going down on the combat. Anyway, in terms of mass per second, Team 2 already cresting 1,000 even. You saw for a second, 1,000 mass versus 800, 200 mass more than their opponent. And the comm of Jack goes down to Maverick. Maverick just went for it. He's in the red, losing hit points pretty quickly. Chemical also, man, that's really shaking my screen there. I gotta pull back from that. It's still shaking. Stop shaking. And Alchemical does fall back, but Maverick just went for it. That was very risky play. I was talking about how he was taking a lot of fire, but Jack, didn't really have a lot of other upgrades besides that gun. Probably should have invested in Nano, but that's a little too late. Too little too late. Gunships are inbound from Maverick's comm. We were just talking about how the game looked, but now you can see the power of that AA trying to force back those gunships. Gunships actually focusing the AA first. Voltu gunship can shoot at other gunships, but Maverick's comm is very suffering here. Can't get on that transport because Team 2's ASFs are nearby, and it does look like Maverick is going to go down to T3 gunships. There he goes. He went for the kill. He got the kill. Tried to get away. Couldn't get away. I wouldn't call that a murder-suicide. No air, says Maverick. Yeah, Team 1 doesn't really have a lot of air at the moment, and it is now a 4v4 game. No one died before 20 minutes, so that is a thing. But anyway, who do you think's going to win this game? It's kind of, there is some argument to be made that Team 1 has a slight advantage due to the fact that they have a lot of momentum here in the southwest, but that can easily turn. Some gunships come in and ruin their fun. You just saw it earlier on with Literal. So let me know down in the comments what who you think is going to win this game, or who you think is going to get MVP or MUP, depending on rating, or depending how I feel, or depending whatever the situation may be. Thank you so much for watching to this point. Please like the video if you did find it enjoyable. Share this video with anyone, everyone, and especially your pets, because your pets like to watch stuff too. And again, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I'm approaching 1,000 subscribers and I'm being close to it every single day. And I'm appreciative of every single one of you who have hit that button and have helped me get this far and continue to help me to grow the channel and make, you know, FAF more. Oh, you would hope mainstream, not mainstream. That's not the word I want to use. More known, because there's not a lot of people that know about FAF, and that's one of the reasons why I want to do daily casts. Is because the more videos that are out there, more likely my videos are seen. More likely people are like, oh, what's this game? It looks kind of, you know, it looks fun. It's an RTS. I had a viewer, I think it was a couple days ago, that asked me if this was StarCraft. I'm like, no, this isn't StarCraft, but this is what it is. This is what FAF is, you know, and all of that. So hopefully my efforts are not in vain for constantly trying to say, hey, you should play FAF, or hey, this is what it is, or even if you don't want to play, just watch. Anyway, I'm trying to see if there's any new developments. Team 2's blue player of Krusty has been forced back a little bit. He's not completely out of resourcing options yet, or territory. Team 1 has gained a decent amount, but again, the issue with gaining territory is you have to keep it, or you're trying to keep it. It is very hard to do in this game, especially when you move into enemy territory. It's a lot of investment. It's a lot of time and effort. It can easily be just, you know, bulldozed over by the opponent you just took it from. You can even see those gunships starting to build once again. With Team 1's comms, got to be very careful not be not strat sniped, but gunship sniped here. We do see a couple of AA guns in here. That's not enough to ward off any sort of gunship, especially T3. Got to have some lightning tanks or some cougars or something to really force those guys back. We do see some air forces being built here by Team 1. Team 2 definitely in air control, even dominance control, even dominance here at 25 minutes in this game. We do see a couple of governors just kind of shell this position. There's a lot of volcanoes here, constantly just dragging all of those missiles away. I do love this play though out here. There's a couple of artillery just shooting up into that defense, trying to do something, trying to deal with this annoying little fire base that has been built here by Alchemical. I feel like it'd be beneficial for Team 1's Chupka to build maybe some destroyers for some direct fire weapons. You know, having a shield is nice. That is going to fall here pretty soon, but having direct would definitely assist with dealing with that a lot quicker. Team 1, you know, it can do a lot of damage, of course, in large numbers. There is a miasma built. It's going to start targeting, of course, those cruisers. Cruisers aren't really moving. So there are also prime targets for that artillery, but there is T1 artillery taking out T2 artillery. So, be that as it may, the shield can only last for so long under constant pressure. We did see an experimental out here for Team 2's Alchemical as well. He's built a monkey. Actually, better yet, he was essentially gifted a monkey by his dead comrade of Jack. And that amount of PD is not going to be enough to really stop that monkey. Even if the monkey does get stopped, the Harbingers also are an annoying thing to deal with. A couple of bombers come over here, don't really know where they're going. And a couple of Autumn's also not going to be enough. And there goes that Fat Boy that's being built. And now this Fat Boy, there's really nothing to stop this monkey. And now it's just going to barrel on through, taking out a ton of T1 engineers. There are 4 headquarters here. One of them T3, all the others T2. Don't really need those. Having one, obviously you have to have a headquarters at a minimum, so you always have to have that. But having 3 extras not really that important. Nape, uninstall, 0 air. And it looks like there is some arguments going between the dead player of Maverick and the air player here for Team 1. Gonna have a little bit of salt in your games because it's always enjoyable to see how our players react to different situations. And more shields have been built. Some of the artillery has been taken out. That's a lot of T1 artillery just trying to puncture the shields. Did he build a destroyer? No. And is going, and that artillery is actually focusing on taking out other things. Interesting. Should be taking out that T2, naval base. Does look like Team 2's blue player of Krusty Bread has pushed back. Like I'll take strategy tips from a. Okay, hold on. No. Just because you're from somewhere else does not mean they do not have any strategic tips. That could be in reference to other things. I do my best to get no political takes, no nothing. Just FAF and FAF alone, or some, maybe anime a little bit. I do talk about anime once in a while, but no. That no, not touching that with a 9,000 foot pole. Nope. But we have a chicken chasing a monkey who's escorting some harbingers and a brick. Don't forget a brick and a rhino. So that is a decent amount of mass for Team 1 to scoop up. It's in the corner of the map, definitely in Team 1's territory. Don't not kill off the harbinger. I mean, there is a broadsword coming in, but maybe you could have saved that Mechs. Maybe you have other pressing issues, but still, could have easily just taken out those 2 units and been done with it. Team 2 is now flooding in T3 bricks and harbingers here to this front line, and a Colossus is now online as well. It came through the water, forcing this position back. There's really nothing else to defend. Still, that artillery still giving this base just annoying nonsense. There's not really a lot of volcanoes left, it looks like. So all those missiles are getting to their targets. Team 2's Alchemical needs to build just a couple of them to deal with them. He has dealt with a decent amount of those cruisers, but still, there's still missiles raining in. Now he's targeting the naval base. There we go. Gotta target the source versus the symptom kind of thing. Pink spam mega with spam. Pink spam mega with spam. You have 600 income? Yeah, he does have 600 income. So, that's a lot of income. He could go for experimentals. He could go for maybe artillery. He could go for nuke. Early nuke would be very interesting. Of course, Team 1 doesn't really have... They have one SMD, and it is loaded. But everywhere else, there isn't an SMD. So that could be a nice opportunity. Team 2's Airplay of Dorset just punishing Team 1. More and more broadswords just all over. More and more AAs being built. That strategy only works for so long. Team 2 still having air dominance. Now they're going after Literal's commander. There's not really he can do. He's going for shield. That'll protect him for a little bit. But after that, it's not really going to do a whole lot. Unfortunately, even if he moves a couple of inches, it really... Or meters, depending on, us Americans use the Imperial system. Everywhere else essentially uses the metric system. And now that is a death here for Team 1 in the form of Literal. It's now a 4v3 in favor of Team 1. And not looking good here for Team 1. Lots of gunships just wrecking shop. There's a Maverick still saying NAP uninstall subcom. And that Galactic Colossus is gone. Oh, it might die. The ASFs do come in. There are a couple of them. Still gunships still online. Oh, 2,000. Oh, just leave it alone. You let him snipe 2 MVP players. Idiot, says Maverick. Let is a strong word. It happens. I'm not trying to defend one player or the other, but you can only control so much. But he is building a nuke and is going for the main base here for Alchemical. Could have gone for the air. Oh, is the SMD loaded? It is, so could have gone for that. You can't give tips to anyone. You keep pushing into enemy gunships next time. There is definitely a lot of salt between those 2 players specifically, but there goes that nuke. First nuke of the game. Outbound from Team 1's NAP Span. I almost said spam, but it is an N. It is a palindrome. It can be read from to backwards to forwards, and it's the same word. And of course, as customary, kaboom! Takes out a decent amount of mass extractors. Does drop Alchemical's eco down to 500 instead of 600. We've seen him earlier. A little bit of mass deficit. He can easily come and deal with that. The Colossus is still limping around. Doesn't even have a rank in veterancy, and the Crab escorting him the best he can. That is a lot of T3 support on this northeastern side. Definitely something to watch out for. And we now see some rush in here for Maverick. probably talking to anybody else who does speak Russian. I don't speak, read, or understand it, or can say it, or whatever. And so I do appreciate whenever somebody does translate for me. And I keep forgetting to do it. Every time that happens, there was a commenter that made, well, a comment that there's like an not Apple, but like a Google Translate view feature where you can like set it up where your phone can auto-translate what's in front of it, which I thought is really cool. I definitely need to try that. Maybe I'll set that up sometime. I just don't really have my phone obviously on me because I'm recording, so I just forget. But I need to set a reminder for myself to do that when I remember, essentially. That way it would be a little bit delayed because the message would pop up and then it would translate and then I would read it. But at least I'd get some sort of understanding of what's going on. T2 Naval Facility did get knocked out here by Team 2. Maybe I'm assuming by the missile launchers that are somewhere. There they are right here. See, this is the only issue that I have with Aeon is that the Volcanoes and the TMLs, they look very similar except for obviously the little bulb on the top shooting off the little flares. Wish they made them a little more easier to see, but more of an art, a design feature more than anything else. But look at this. Team 2's Alchemical severely pushing into Team 1's territory. Actually coming up onto, I think, Team 1, who's that, Maverick's old base? I think it is that. Yeah, I mean, no. I think it was right here. No. Anyway, it's getting pretty close to that front line. 2 chickens versus a crab. Essentially, at this point, send this chicken in, have it suicide on top of the crab, send the other chicken in to just go after the T3 units. You can see, actually, now both of them are going in. That's one way to do it. That chicken is going to die on top of that crab. A lot of damage is going into it, though, essentially guaranteeing the death of the crab. A lot of T3 support inbound, and now it's starting to just kind of encapsulate all of those T3 units. Isn't enough to hold off. The chickens do not die, and what I loved about this was that the healthier chicken was body blocking a little bit of the shots coming in from those bricks and other harbingers, and now the chickens are going to run on through. Even if the chickens do die, a lot of this T3 units are just going to be killed off by the Iron Storm. There is a second crab, though, so that's definitely an issue. But there goes the second chicken as well. The Ion Storm will activate here pretty soon. There it goes, starting to rip through all those units. Second Ion Storm is going to activate. We'll force the crab back a little bit, but there's still more bleeding going on here in the northeast section of the map. Team 2 is attacking down south as well. Not with much luck, though. There's a lot more defenses, a lot more infrastructure here for them to chew through. It's been held a lot better here by Team 1 in the north. In the southwest versus the northeast. And artillery base still online, still not going anywhere. And at this point, I don't think it will unless a nuke comes and deals with that. Speaking of nuke, how is that one loading? He has a Duke as well. 34 minutes. He has a Duke. He's going after the air grid here for Team 2's. That's not Prugler. For Dorset, Prugler is actually just hiding underneath the shield. Did take out one facility. Shields are being built very, very quickly, though, for Dorset. He has a secondary SMD as well. So protecting himself against those nukes. Oh, artillery shell is inbound. How lucky is it going to be? Oh, it doesn't hit the shield, but takes out almost over half the hit points of that Pigeon. Oh, shot a little bit to the east, but one more, and it'll probably cascade and kill off most, if not this entire square of air-producing facilities. How's that northeast army going here for Team 2? Well, it's still just going through everything that Team 1 owns. I can feel the claws are starting to close around Team 1's neck. They're not out of the game just yet, but it is not looking good here for Team 1. And now just a line of shields are being built to protect all of those air facilities. I think the time for the one artillery needs to move because all it's going to do is just constantly hit shields. It was very unfortunate to not have it hit the Pigeon once again, but that's just how it works. Is there 2 artilleries, or is it more? Oh, it just got more Pigeons. Okay. That is one way to increase the fire rate, is to assign some Pigeons. The bigger the Pigeons, the bigger the bonus. And it takes, essentially half the time to reload and fire with 4 T3 Pigeons than it does just a standalone T3 artillery. And Team 2 still pushing forward with that crab, facing off against a chicken once again. Definitely will side with the crab in that regard. Nuke going to launch once again, this time actually still outbound from Napspan in the north. Where's this one going? It's going for this base down here. SMD is loaded, so he's going to be perfectly fine. But, I mean, maybe could have gone for this. Like the SMD doesn't cover everything. The shields are starting to fall a little bit. Oh, could have edged it out probably a little bit with that nuke. But the shields are staying pretty online. That's a lot of drones, though. That's a lot of drones. So those shields are not going to fall anytime soon. He's actually going to build some satellites after he starts getting in some RASCOMs. There is a chicken. What's it? Oh, it's going after these experimentals here on the little plateau edge. Actually going to kill off, or trying to kill off the last cruiser that Chepkak, still don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, built earlier on. Missiles raining in. Where are they going after? The more T3 mechs is just constantly assassinating that eco here for Team 1. ASFs come in, just start ripping through anything and everything that Team 1 owns. Gunships do retreat. He has also built the satellite. Eject right, says Alchemical, yes, eject. He is out. What? What's going on? Did someone, was someone losing connection or something? He's out, says Prugler. Don't know who they're talking about. But Team 1 has essentially lost all of their air forces, all of their gunships. They're dead in the water. Definitely needed more AA here for Team 1's Napspan. I mean, he went for nuke, satellite, and artillery. All he needs is the Maver, and he has the quadfecta. But, I mean, maybe should have focused on air a little bit more. I kind of agree with Maverick, at least in that regard. Gunships are inbound. They're just going to go after that Com or the pigeons directly. Is getting a little bit underneath the shields. But a lot of them are being taken out by that T2 artillery, the AA flak spam. And that's the danger with gunships, because they sit for so long. You can get overlapping fields of fire and it just rips through gunships. There it goes. They're all dead. There. Goodbye. Oh, you already did. Says, oh, okay. That's not... I mean, salt is nice, but it's not, constantly it's not great. But we do have some squadron or so of some bombers, the T2 Torps. I mean, they're going after air, but not air, but naval facilities. But they're only T1. It's not really that much of an opposing threat. You still have Zero Arrow having 10 bases, says Maverick. And that Colossus is the ray of hope here for Team 1. Artillery is still raining in onto that location specifically. But I feel like it could be macroed for other things. Satellite is being built as we speak. And, I mean, maybe it'll be enough with a satellite and artillery to break through a couple of the shielding, but I don't know if it's enough to break through all of it. That is a decent amount of T3 shielding, and more is being built overlapping as we speak. SMD is going to go down. That could be very vital here for Krusty Bread, but also that Colossus is nearby. Needs to keep him walking, though. SMD is going to be killed off, but at this point, it's not really need to worry about it. The Colossus does get built here by Team 2's Krusty, just barely. Strap Bomber's coming in for assist as well. The Colossus will kill off the other Colossus with assisting support, but all the Nuke has to do is come in and end that party here for Team 2's Krusty Bread. Nuke is about to load. There is a chicken running around here for Team 1's a Drunk Warden. I always want to say Drunken Warden, but it's drunk. But Crab takes out another chicken. Ion Storm just kind of running around. Lots of mass currently still on the field, though. 39 minutes in this game. 390,000 mass. Most of it is on that northern side here for Team 1 and Team 2 to scoop up. But it's essentially on Team 2's controlled side of the map. Another crab coming in. Another crab coming in. They are not stopped. They are producing crabs like it's going out of style. Probably could have produced a Scathus by now with all that mass. He's at 700. Yeah, definitely probably could have built a Scath. At least had one pretty close to being built at this point. Shields... can't tell if they're really falling. Some of them are falling. Some of them are being taken out by the satellite. The emitters is going to be able to regen enough. There it goes. The Nuke would definitely be prime on top of that Krusty Bread. Spot here for Team 1's Nap Spam, but Span. See, I did it again. I knew I was going to do Spam. Going to build a second Duke. He's building a Fat Boy. He's building... It's not necessarily bad to be a jack of all trades. But the downside with being a jack of all trades is you can't focus on one thing. It's kind of like in D&D, you got to min-max. You got to give up something. You can't be good at, combat and essentially combat and role play and this, that, and the other thing. You got to have some weaknesses, and having no strength means you have no weaknesses means you pretty much have no strength. So you're kind of, you're nice for a lot of, you're good for a lot of scenarios. You're not great for really any scenario. I feel like that's definitely Napspan's weakness here, is he's not focused on one thing, which means somebody who is focused on it can easily overpower him in that regard. Gunships are inbound here for him as well, but a huge horde of ASFs are hovering, and the nuke is going to be used as nuclear point defense. All he has to do is keep the crabs there, and that one will be killed off. The crab for Team 1 does get killed off, but the nuke is inbound. Could send some ASFs, but does look like the crab. Oh, that was barely close. There goes the nuke. Almost kills off the crab. Doesn't even singe the other one. I don't know if it maybe killed a couple of ASFs, but not a lot. FAF point is online. That will be able to take out the crab here for Team 2, but building another Duke, it might. I feel like at that point he should have just went full artillery and been done with it. Novak says, Drunk Warden, there are 2 of them online. Here for Dorset, going for a third one. Team 2 just constantly building shields. This has been the main focus of that one artillery. You could have easily gone after this position. You could have easily gone after this position. You could have easily gone after even this position. Just something to just, poke and prod at the opponent. But, essentially, it's a big red target saying, hey, you should shoot me. Hey, you should come get me. And Napspan isn't really targeting it. Oh, no, maybe he's targeting something else now. Going after this artillery base. Doesn't really break the shields. But a T2 naval facility is once again built here for Chepkak. Kak? I still don't know how I'm pronouncing his name. I keep saying it differently every time. Team 2 just constantly pressuring Team 1's air player here. Like the doors, or not the doors, but the walls are closing in. Satellite over top. Crab is inbound. And the doors are closing. Impending crab apocalypse here for Team 1. There's a lot of defenses that Team 2 have to break through, but with 2 satellites and a bunch of T3 and T4 support, those crabs are coming every, minute or two, say minute and a half. There's one. Man, he's just pumping those things out. Obviously still scaling his eco at the same time. He slowed down a little bit, but still getting a crab out, like I'd say, every minute and a half to 2 minutes max is huge. That's a lot of firepower very quickly. Fat Boy being used, of course, to shield the Duke as well as being shielded by the other shields. Units can't really get in close here to Team 1's main base now. The southwest wall is completely fine. Team 1 and Team 2 still just kind of having an armistice, just kind of like a treaty. They're like, hey, you don't attack me, I don't attack you, we'll just hang out, okay? The artillery is actually switched off targets of that smaller artillery base. Actually, the second artillery is that's what's targeting this. Going after the base here for Krusty. That's going to hurt. Takes out the rest of those PGens. Krusty doesn't have a lot of eco left. He still has a couple of energy producing facilities, but not a lot. He has to be very careful because he'll lose that very, very soon and then lose even more mass income. But now we have units being diverted from the northeastern front down southwestwardly, coming after Drunk Warden's bases now. He went for a couple of air facilities. That gets taken out very quickly. And now, due to the fact that it's just a giant mess up here, Team 2 does not want to engage that at all. All their forces are being diverted into other avenues. There is one crab going after a T3 air headquarters. Oh, he needs to just turn around and kill it. Fat Point is chasing it. Second Fat Point is built. Duke, of course, is getting its adjacency PGens as well. Chicken comes in to assist. Going to go straight for the crab. Kills off a decent amount of that T3 support. But this base here for Drunk Warden is just suffering. He's being attacked from the rear. Isn't being attacked from the front. Probably should divert most of these units northward. At least the ones owned by Drunk. Be able to deal with this. Fat Boy is coming in to assist. It is being lasered by 3 satellites at the moment. That fat boy is probably not going to make it back to base. And that crab is still inbound. Well, those crabs, I should say, are still inbound. Those engineers, they are reclaiming E-storages. You know, it would really be a slap in the face if they just captured them. But that would also be funny. But that very interesting tactic just for the couple of engineers just reclaiming stuff. Very, very interesting. 2 artillery might be enough to puncture this base. Some of the outlying shields are down. Well, maybe, but more and more shields are being built. Of course, the satellite also assisting with dealing with those emitters. But, there are some clinks in the chinks in the armor. Some holes, some bends, some bruises, that sort of thing. And Team 1 can still hold out for the time being, though. They've been doing it for a decent while now, but still, just the alchemical just constantly just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. It is dropping a lot of mass on Team 1's doorstep, but most of the mass stays in the hands of Team 2 because Team 1 cannot get close enough due to the massive amounts of units just constantly streaming in. Satellites are starting to break through the shielding, though. Team 1's air player of Napspan needs to be mindful of that. Ooh, he's going to build more shielding as we speak, but isn't going to be enough. Shield does pop back online at the last second to save that fusion reactor. It's not looking good. All that firepower is starting to, again, take out the shielding. Same thing down here. Shielding is starting to fail. Satellite holding fire, I guess. I mean, even if he takes out that, anti-nuke launcher or the SMD, there's still another one over here. I don't think it covers it, but don't know. 5 satellites though. That's a lot of fire. That's a lot of firepower coming out from the skies. Team 1's Drunkborn essentially just wounded. Can't really do a whole lot without his facilities or mass. T2 Naval Headquarters still under threat from satellites and from crabs and from harbingers. Essentially, Team 2 now just ignoring the northwest corner of the map and going for anything and everything down southwest. The air forces for Team 2 aren't really being built up anymore. It looks like there was a fight earlier on, but there's some air forces up here, but not a lot. There's actually some strat bombers being built by at least 2 players here on Team 2. The air player and the crusty bread. But those crabs are just raining havoc from behind enemy lines, and it just hurts. It's just like you have all this frontline defenses and you can't do anything with it because if you fall back, you lose territory. But if you push forward, you are going to engage 4 colossi and more incoming as time goes on. That artillery still isn't breaking through the shields. I think Team 1 needs 1 more, and it might be enough. But he is building it. And again, 5 satellites overhead is a lot of firepower. It does look like they punctured through a little bit. The nuke does have a nuclear missile loaded. There are 3 crabs inbound. The best thing that nuke could do is actually just fire it probably right here. It would send some stuff, but you would take a severe amount of hit points out from these 3 crabs. If Team 1 doesn't do this, that might be it. 1 crab is down. 2 do remain. We did see some strat bombers being built up. Are they going to be sent off? Not as of yet. Now the artillery is actually focused on the comm of Dorset. He's building a 6th satellite. It's a lot of firepower. Shields are collapsing around him, though. He's got to be very careful. Strat bombers have also been put there. They might take a hit or 2. Let's go. Hold on. Let's do the split camera. Going to go over here to the northwest and watch this front line starting to collapse. Watch down here. Shields are falling around Dorset's commander. Emitters are being taken out at the same time. All of those crabs have been taken out. The chicken comes in to assist. Crab does retreat. Dorset does get his shields back online. Ooh, that was close though. Still just building that. Actually, I'll put this over here in the middle so I can see what's going on over here. Satellites are breaking through. They're taking out the fat boy. Nuke does launch. Actually, it is out from Team 1, and it's going down here for this army. But the it might stay there. There are 2 experimentals versus 4. 1 does get killed off. Artillery does break through some of the shielding, taking out some of those engineering drone facilities. Oh, artillery's still missing, though. It's just, you can tell it's just right there. Oh, there it goes. Takes out the SMD around Dorset's commander. Oh, that's going to hurt. Second Colossus is down. None of those experimentals are down here for Team 1. That's a huge win. One of them did retreat. Nuke is inbound. Will it take out anything? Almost takes out another Colossi, so 2 Colossi severely wounded. That's going to hurt. Dorset does lose that SMD. There is no... Oh, there's one SMD down here and obviously the one down here. That comm is vulnerable to nuclear hellfire. Does Team 1? Yes, he does. He does have one loaded. He could easily nuke that. Dorset gets pinged saying, hey, you got to move. Hey, you got to do stuff. You get no warning. Hey, watch out over here. Satellite falling. 2 of them are down. 4 of them online. More shields are being built all the time. Napspan actually pops out of shield coverage for a second. Satellites are targeting him directly. Strap bombers are inbound. That's why he's moving. Oh, it's going to hurt. His shield is down, but his hit points are fine. Shields are collapsing as well. Dorset is going to be moved underneath the SMD coverage, but his satellites are down. That'd be a huge grab by that nuke if he does go for it. There are 3 Dukes online. I think it's a good thing I did split into this mode to be able to see a lot. In the northeast, we have gunships pushing back against Team 2's land forces. I think for the first time in the game, it's being pushed back. Does look like a lot of, it's just a lot of forces inbound from the south here. And it does look like against emitters are the main targets here. Take those out, then there's no coverage, and then you can focus on the satellite stations. Napspan is, he's not feeling too good, not feeling so hot. Gonna quote the line from Infinity War of "I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark." Or I think it's Mr. Stark. I don't know, one or the other. But shields popping in and out. Dorset's actually not even under shield coverage, maybe wanting to draw the ire of that satellite. But with 3 artillery constantly pummeling down this position, and is not feeling good. There goes another one. Ooh, almost takes out that Dovax. Couple of emitters still online. Gonna try to rebuild that SMD. Still, that nuke could come in and kill this off immediately. But maybe he's saving the nuke for something else. Maybe he thinks that coverage is enough to cover it. But, oh, there goes another satellite. And let's see, is there anything over here in the west? Still, those crabs are retreating. And there is some conversation going down in chat here between Dorset and his teammates. And, okay, Nap playing Epic says, I must admit, says Maverick. Well, it is good that he can admit that. I mean, I even thought that strategy was kind of interesting. But, I mean, it works. Strap bombers are inbound. Going after artillery isn't going to be enough to puncture those shields, though. Needs a couple more. But there is 1 satellite left online out of 6. That is, wow, this game really flipped on its head. I mean, I am the caster, and I am surprised. It definitely looked like Team 1 was going to lose that, especially if this corner of the map was gone. That was it. Easily Team 2 could come in and just pincer maneuver this southwest and be done with it. This attack not happening at all definitely is giving a lot of time for Team 1 to, again, focus on the northwest. I'd say that's definitely a mistake for Team 2's Prugler and Krusty is not pushing this as much as they could because they have the numbers. They have the experiment. Well, 2 of them are severely wounded. But earlier they had the numbers. They had the mass. They had everything they needed, but they're just not pushing. They don't want to risk dropping mass on Team 1's doorstep. And that hesitation might cost them the game. I don't know entirely that, but it is a contributor at a minimum. Now with all 6 satellites down here in the east for Dorset, now all the artillery is going to be focused on this position. I'll move this side of the map, or this side of the screen so you can see that. The crab army is being rebuilt once again. A 4th one adds. Oh, nice chain reaction, nice cascade. Takes out half of that air grid. Once I think this SMB is full, which at 140 hit points, all the laser has to do is just breathe. There it goes, and it's dead. Of course, as I say something. Is there another SMD? 2 of the comms pretty close together. That could be a nice double kill with a nuke. Nuke does launch, going for the air grid. Oh, that's a missed opportunity. But there is an SMD right here, and it is loaded. But there is a donut coming in online. And that's not going to feel good. Maybe it'll crash on top of the SMD. No, you got to keep going with it. You got to keep going with it. Don't let it sit there. Oh, what is he doing? He's going after mass FAPs. That's fine. But, the pings go down. Just landed on top of the SMD, and it's dead, most likely. Oh, that's such a waste of a donut. It's got to hurt. And that nuke will not land. That was shoot here, says Dorset. Yeah, shoot here. Wait, does Team 2 have their own artillery? Hold on. Oh, yeah, counter artillery. Where's it coming in from? It's probably on screen. I don't even see it. I don't see it. I don't know where it is. Fat Boy trying to hold off the incoming threat. Of course, assisted by gunships. Lots of shields being gifted over to Chep to be able to either micro or assist. And a salvation is online. Ooh, okay, hold on. I want to find out where. Oh, I want to find out where it is. Where is it? No, that's not it. It's again probably just in my face, and I don't see it. It's not down there. It's Aeon, so it's going to be only a few people. Oh, here it is. Over here to the east. Alchemical builds a salvation without the assistance of a Paragon, and that could be it. Team 1 looked like they were going to come back in this game, but it is a comeback of a comeback. Salvation is all that matters. I can respam, and there goes one artillery. There goes a second one here pretty soon once the pigeons go off. There they go. There's the second artillery. Third one's still online, but that is huge here for Team 2. They needed this. They needed this salvation. Literally, it's the salvation of the game. Had that nuke landed, would have done. I mean, it would have gone after this, but that's gotta hurt. Is that a Awasaw bomber somewhere? No, thought I heard it. But I think we can come off split screen though. It's definitely. Did not think it was going to be a close game. Did become a close game, and then now it's just going to be salvation, pummeling Team 1 into the ground. This was the hub of activity here for Team 1. The nuke is still online. The last Duke that was built is going to die off. A new one is going to be built in its place, but losing 3 artillery is rough. Is there even an? Oh, there's one right here, and it has 5 loaded. Alchemical probably targeting that. Yep, has that covered pretty well. But satellite is inbound. I mean, one nuke could bring this back in the game here for Team 1. But I don't know if Team 1 notices. No, he doesn't know that's an SMD. Needs to move the satellite just a little bit over. T3 already here. Yeah, taking out energy, but Alchemical has 17,000 power. If not more than that, depending on what he's spending on. So he's going to be perfectly fine in terms of that. And the shields coming in and out. But the advancement of the crabs are definitely not going to help with that. Second crab is in range, takes out that Fat Boy. The satellite and the nuke is still online. 55 minutes in this game. It might go to an hour. It might not. I don't remember exactly how long this one was. There was this base built up by Chepkak in the north. Still don't know if I'm saying his name right. Well, we tried. Shame. Everybody forgot to spam T2 flag like for 10 minutes. 10 prevents gunship snipes. Get a grip. Isn't that? I mean, yeah, you can say that as one of the guys that, was one of the last men standing here for his team. And he did a decent amount, to be fair, but early on, he definitely needed to build more air. His just strategy didn't end up paying off in the long run. It was working for a period of time, but, again, like I said, it didn't end up sealing the deal. And that amount of shielding is going to prevent a lot of that artillery from just banking off and not really doing a whole lot. And there goes the death here for Napspan trying to run away from those crabs. Probably even maybe got killed by artillery. But that is now a 4v2 in favor of Team 2. Find Redcom, please, says Alchemical. Oh, because of, I don't know, teleportation there? I mean, he's going for teleporter, but, yeah, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Colossi inbound. And, yeah, that's, yeah, GG. Yep. And it's now Chepkak is alone. I think that was actually Chepkak who died right there. But that is the game here. Team 2 ends up pulling it out eventually. Not eventually, but at the end, it was, Team 2 for a long time. Team 1 came back with a vengeance. And then Team 2 went hold my beer. And then Alchemical actually said hold my beer. And then that's what essentially won the game. His constant pressure was very, very frustrating here for Team 1. But that salvation literally is the salvation here for his game and his team. And so MVP goes to Alchemical. Even MUP probably deserves at least another 100, if not 200 rating. Did a very great job. This base is still on, like, even has an SMD in it, because why not? It's 6 of them loaded. And good game overall. The 2 snipes here on Team 1 definitely did not help with Team 2 gaining a huge advantage. And it just goes to show, if you give a lot of mass to one player, that one player can do a whole lot with it. But also, like I pointed out earlier, Team 2 should have been attacking a lot more aggressively on the southern side, mimicking what Alchemical was doing and constantly pushing. And then once he stopped building crabs, he took all of that mass and funneled it into a salvation. And he even got a rank in veterancy, 211,000 mass killed on that salvation. So great job by everyone, but especially Alchemical. He deserves the MVP/MUP award, the MUP award. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please like the video. Comment down below what your favorite moment of the video was, or just about anything in general. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Share this video with your friends, family, pets, anyone who's interested in, well, anything. And I will see all of you in the next one.